What's up, guys?
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're back.
We have returned. YouTube has restored our monetization. Thank you. Thank you, gods of YouTube.
Yeah.
We are very grateful that you have restored our monetization.
What about, can we play the Prong?
Which one?
No, you go back to your home on Whore Island.
No.
Which one?
The Skid Row.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's for the end.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a sec. I do have it. Where is it? We got.
Yeah.
Oh, and the ever famous.
Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. I didn't do anything. Ow! Ow!
That is one of the all-time greatest sound effects of all time, just because of the way that guy sells it.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
No, it just started actually. Don't go anywhere.
Is this the record store?
No, it's not.
You're right.
All right, guys. Well, we have our monetization has been restored once again. We're very happy about this, and we'd like to thank YouTube once again. Mm-hmm. I think let's talk about this for a second before we get into stuff, because I actually think despite the kind of stuff that we went through, I think it's actually a good thing what YouTube is doing, because what they kind of did was they purged the system of a lot of people who were not creating anything. And we were guilty of, I mean, when I looked at some of our content was just us playing, clips of other people's stuff. So
yeah, but you gave them
we're talking about it. We were reacting to it.
You gave that person due credit.
True. And there is like fair use too. But I think fair use is only mostly for like news related stuff, because you're kind of like educating people. Whereas like we were doing news related stuff, but it was like rock news. So, I'm sure the guy from Rock Feed, we would play his clips, or, I was going through, I had to delete a bunch of our stuff, and I love that guy, Rock and Roll True Stories. He does such great stuff. And so like, I realized like a bunch of our clips were just like me playing his clips and going, see, dude, check this out.
Yeah.
Stories that I know, but he did a great job of putting them together. So anyway, despite all that, we have a lot of great content of our own too. So, interviews and
so go check it out, people.
Yeah, breakdowns. No, even during our downtime, man, like without uploading anything, because the last time we did a live stream was May. So what's that? 3 months ago, like May 8th, a little over 3 months ago. And that was one when I did an interview with the guys from Ecstatic Lullaby, because I got like and then before that, like we were doing some stuff, but we kind of slowed down, and then we just kind of stopped, but we were still gaining subscribers. So we're doing something right,
because we have good shit.
Yeah, we've got some good. Well, and we care about the music too. I think that comes through in what we do. Like we actually legitimately love the music and are trying to be a place for bands to show off their or just a kind of like a place where we can say, oh, you got to listen to this band or that band, like because they're really I have to say too, before another thing, two bands, we're going to talk about one of them later, but two bands that we interviewed, Crowbar and Typo Negative, are like having a huge resurgence with the youth.
Yeah.
With like Gen Z. So, I don't want to take credit for that, but I do want to like take credit for that. No, I'm just kidding. Not take credit for that, but like, let's say that, hey, we were out there kind of like going like, hey, check these bands out.
Yeah.
And people check those bands out. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying Gen Z is like our core audience is definitely not Gen Z,
No.
but you know, there's some shit going. Speaking of Gen Z, is that Dryden joining the chat?
Yeah.
What up, guys?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
I
were
was
just talking about.
cooking some fucking pasta. 'Cause I haven't eaten.
You're good. We were just talking about the resurgence of bands like Crowbar and Typo Negative
Yeah.
among Gen Z, and I was like, I don't want to take credit for that, but I do actually want to take credit for that, you know, because we were
on the
definitely
ball.
hyping those bands.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I remember, even like with Deftones too. I mean, they've been kind of popping with Gen Z for a minute, but I remember when I was younger, like middle school or like in my skater era, I would like skate around and listen to Deftones and that album Around the Fur specifically. And all my friends would like make fun of me because it was like screaming music and like
Really?
they didn't understand. Yeah, they'd all make fun of me, and now everyone listens to that kind of stuff. So it is funny to me. I'm like, dude,
It's
mean,
funny. I was on the way over because I've been staying somewhere else, and on the way over to my apartment tonight, I was blasting the mix of Back to Obscurity, and I pulled up to this light, and there was these kids playing this like shitty trap music, like with the clickety hi-hats, like,
yeah,
and it was just like I pulled up next to him, and I kind of like didn't make eye contact, but I just listened, and then I was like, wow. I mean, listen, I like a lot of that music too. I'm not dissing all trap music or anything, but I just feel like
pull up next to someone blasting. Like I've been listening to Archfire a lot recently, and it's just like fucking super fast drums and like. I love pulling up to a light next to someone with their windows down, and they're like,
what the fuck is that? Well, I was saying too the other day, it's like how like with some death metal, how long is it before it's just you're just listening to a wet fart, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It's
I
just
will say, Archfire, they're pretty badass.
oh, they're fucking awesome.
I like them a lot. But yeah, you're right. They're kind of like one of the last like death metal bands I've heard that I really like. They call themselves tech death because it's like really technical death metal. But
It's like no, that's like it because they're on the same level as a band like Animals as Leaders, right?
yeah,
Where it's like it's like really technical, like musical like what's the word? Virtuoso. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the kind of
for sure.
shit like a classical violinist would play. or
dude, and the
something.
singer's like speaking with the speed of the drums, so he's like basically rapping the entire.
Oh,
song.
that's dope. Yeah, see, that's been popular too. There's another band, Hunt the Dinosaur.
Yeah,
that,
it's kind of like that, but I honestly think they're a little bit better. Like I like.
well, Hunt the Dinosaur is kind of a joke band.
Yeah, they're joking.
Some of those joke bands though are killer. Like what's it? I mean, a lot of
Tony
those main core
Danza,
bands,
Tap
Tony
Dance,
Danza,
Extravagance.
but Infinite Annihilator
Yeah,
is, you know what I mean? It's
similar
like,
kind of idea, but these dudes actually, I don't know if Infinite Annihilator plays. I mean, they do play live, but some of their songs, like they just can't even play them live. They're so fast. So,
bro, we had a run-in with the law, with the YouTube law. We were kind of talking about this. Oh, we got another comment about Prong. Yes, we are going to talk about Prong. I'm actually going to repost an interview I posted with Prong a while ago. So long story short, we were kind of talking about this before you came on, Dryden, but just to kind of wrap this up nicely, we were talking about being demonetized. So one of the reasons we've been gone for the summer is we were demonetized. So YouTube did this mass demonetization. They got like a bunch of people. I was talking to people on Twitter about it. We talked a little bit about it on previous streams, but they basically pulled the rug out from under us. They're like, nope, you can't. And they said reused content. So at first I was really butthurt about it, but we played a lot of, we would watch like Billy Corgan's podcast clips or fucking Rock Feed. We would play Rock Feed guys clips, or we were playing a lot of other people's clips. So YouTube hit us with reused content. They're like, you're reusing content.
I think it might have been our shorts and stuff too. Like
it was the shorts
one,
for
like
sure.
the
Well, that's
Bungle.
where we got the most views.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I was telling Eric is it's a good thing. Even though I was pissed off about it at first, I'm glad YouTube is doing this, because basically what they did was they ended your ability to kind of capitalize on other people, because there were like these channels that were like Joe Rogan clip farms, for example, that would just take Joe Rogan's content and cut it up and then make money off of it, like just clips of his shit. And so YouTube really just drew the line in the sand now and said, and also when you think about where you know what the trend is the last several years, what is it? It's like podcast streaming. Everyone
like AI. There's a whole thing with AI YouTube channels that can just like get a bunch of views and fucking game the system. And dudes will have like 4 or 5 AI YouTube channels, and it's like,
well, another thing is when I had to reapply, they made me. I had to send my ID. I had to like re-verify, like put in all this info and stuff. But also, once we got back in, man, it's really nice. YouTube actually sells your channel to advertisers, and they give you dude, I'll send it to you. I was going to send it to you guys, but I was like, you guys are going to give a shit about this. But there's a media kit. There's a literal, like YouTube makes a media kit for you that shows your audience. Like, yeah, dude, it's so nice. It shows like our age demographics, you know, it's more our age, like mine and your age, Eric, but we have a pretty wide range of age demographics, but it's mostly like 40 to 60, like old metalheads like us. But there's some Dryden's age and some, you know, everything in between. So, but anyway, it's really cool. Like the way I just feel like YouTube's kind of evolving, and they just went, look, we're done with all this sloppy shit, this crap that people are just churning out. There's so much garbage. And even for us, it's like I had to go through and delete a bunch of our shit, which was a good exercise, too. You know, it's like, what, we don't need to have all this shit. Like there's some stuff that's
and it's probably good for us to like try new things anyway. So it'll kind of force us to do that.
Yeah.
Make things entertaining.
Yeah, totally. And then the other thing is we need to, like, we got to prepare segments better, because a lot of what I was doing before is just like, here's what's happening this week. Here, like, it was like a news variety show, like a politics show. But the problem is with news shows, with a news politics show, you fall under fair use. But with entertainment, music, like not so much. Like they're like, no, dude, you can't just like take other people's content and do a variety show like politics, because it's not news. You're not educating people about like what's happening in the world. You're kind of, I mean, we are technically, but you know,
I guess
it doesn't fall under fair use,
because there's so many YouTubers I watch that make a shit ton of money, like actual YouTubers, like that Moist Critical guy, the
sure
long hair dude. That's all he does is he goes on live stream. People will like send him videos to watch, like police body cams or some music video or whatever. He'll watch it, and then he'll clip that, and he'll like do on his videos, he'll like do a little intro and like talk in his chair for a second, and then he'll just play the live stream clip of him watching it on his stream with all the people in. So I just don't understand why we can't do that, but whatever. We'll switch into something else.
Who knows? They may have demonetized him.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure
know.
he's doing all right though.
By the same token, there are a couple videos that I left up that have third-party content in them.
Yeah.
And I put react. Like there's one where we're talking about Pantera being called racists in the 90s, and it's an MTV News clip. And I was just like, we're reacting to MTV News clip.
Yeah.
So they let us keep that. You know what I mean? So there is some gray area, I guess, still. But by the same token, again, I'm not mad about it. Like YouTube brought us back. Here we are. And thank you for, by the same token, again, it's like, I think it did need to be cleaned up. They had to raise that video you sent me, Dryden, too. That guy was talking, they raised the bar for like what you need to qualify to.
So they also changed something too recently I was learning about, where you know how like views, when you get a view on a video, it means I think it's like they have to have watched like 30 seconds of the video for it to be a view.
Yeah, for
now you don't have to have, now they just have to, it can be 1 second and it counts as a view. So they changed a couple of the rules regarding that stuff. Like someone could literally just scroll past your video and like autoplay, and I'm pretty sure it counts as a view. Which is kind of dumb, but also whatever. I don't really.
Well, I think
they're trying to.
There's also other metrics they're like engagement, to see like how long people are actually staying on your video, and if your engagement's bad, then then and you have a ton of views, then they know your shit is garbage.
Yeah.
Or you're getting like bot traffic or something.
You're like clickbaiting people.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about. Let's talk about Eric's photos. Let me pull those up real quick. While you could talk amongst yourselves.
Who was it?
So we went to a show, Eric and I.
Tomahawk.
Yeah, Tomahawk and Melvins. And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta log into the Brutal Planet account. Here we go. There it is. Sweet. Okay, so let me.
Where was it? In Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Place called the Union. Is it just called the Union?
Yeah.
Eric, do you live in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
No, I live in American Fork.
Oh yeah, he lives in American Fork. It's south of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy though. Coming back to Utah, American Fork is basically a metro. Like Utah Valley's gotta have like a comparable population to Salt Lake at this point.
Yeah.
It's like Metropolis at this point.
Oh yeah.
So these are photos of the Melvins. Dude, I will say this, Dryden. What the fuck? My I have a weird mouse, so it's tripping out. King Buzzo.
You said, what were you gonna say?
Well, what I was going to say about Melvins is they had two drummers, and at first I thought they were going to be doing kind of like counterpoint or like doing different stuff, and they actually didn't. They kind of played the same beat the whole time, both drummers, but it actually sounded. You know how like when you record guitars, you record the same thing twice and then you pan it wide, so it sounds like huge because it's like slight differences, even though it's the same riff. That's kind of what they did with drums. Okay. And it was actually really killer. It was like honestly one of the better Melvin sets I've seen.
I don't remember them doing that when I saw them. So
no, they didn't.
A new thing
they definitely didn't. But here you
it's
can
funny.
see.
They always wear those outfits though. That's like their fit.
He has like the wizard. It's like his wizard robe or something.
Do you still not remember any of their songs?
The Melvins, yeah, it is true. I don't remember any of their songs. I don't know the names of any of their songs. They're like
a very great.
They're awesome though. They were fucking killer, dude. Great. They killed it.
I just don't know if I would like put on the Melvins in my car or radio. You know what I mean?
They're definitely a live band. They're like
definitely a live band.
I would liken them to Clutch, but Eric likes Clutch a lot, and I like some. Clutch has an album called Psychic Warfare. I think is fucking brilliant. It's like one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Clutch record. But like
Clutch,
but Melvins and Clutch are very. Clutch has memorable songs though. Like Clutch, I can remember Clutch's songs.
It's one of those bands too that's like all the original members, right? For like 30 plus years. Is the Melvins the same, or have they?
There's been a couple lineup changes with the Melvins. This guy is so killer, dude.
Yeah, the bass player is dope.
So my friend Adam, who went with us, they saw this same show in Nashville like a week or so ago or a week or two ago, because that's all they do. They live a charmed life. They just like fly around and see shows. Amazing, perfect life actually. Like Adam found this chick who loves metal and just rock, just shows really like music as much as he does. So they just fucking fly around and see shows. But they said they saw this tour and it wasn't as good. They're like in Nashville, it was like not that good. It was shaky because they just started. But they said it was like really, they were killer in Salt Lake. King Patton.
That's cultural appropriation.
So Patton had this joke. That's Trevor Roy Dunn on the bass, also of Mr. Bungle. He kind of looks like the guy from My Chemical Romance right there. He kind of looks like Gerard Way in that shot. That is Dwayne Dennison.
Wow, is that the same guy?
Yeah. So this is Tomahawk. This is Tomahawk.
Okay.
So Tomahawk is Dwayne Dennison is from a band called Jesus Lizard.
Oh, okay.
And it's
He
really
looks
kind of
like one of the Faith No More guitar players, like an old video.
so, dude. The drummer from Tomahawk is the drummer for Helmet too, the original drummer for
Okay.
the band Helmet, John
Yeah.
Stainer. Not like I think like John Stainer was the last Helmet record John Stainer did was fuck
Is it Betty?
Aftertaste.
Oh,
I
after
think the one that has like
the three.
fuck exactly what you wanted and
Yeah. I know.
driving nowhere fast. But so anyway, Tomahawk basically it's kind of like, from what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, but basically Dwayne Dennison created a bunch of these riffs or songs and sent them to Patton, and then Patton liked them, and that's how they ended up doing the Tomahawk project. But yeah, these are some of the photos from that. Patton kicking it on the.
Yeah, it was funny. It was hard to get photos of him like this.
Yeah.
He was standing behind that mic the whole time.
You know, it's funny too. He has his little setup. He like runs a vocal effects and shit. But I always notice too. He always has a music stand with him, and I always thought that was interesting. But I'm like, man, when you're putting out as much material and doing as much stuff as he is, it's almost like you just have to read music. You have to be like a session player that just sits down and like reads your piece of music off a sheet. You know what I mean? Because he like there's
and
no
sometimes you forget,
remember.
like if he's like, for me too, like playing in a band, like I'll forget my own songs. So that's why I write all my lyrics on paper and shit.
Yeah,
like,
because you remember it better.
But
But I mean, he's in like 12. I mean, he has like 4 or 5 regular moving projects like Bungle, Phantomas, Faith No More, maybe Peeping Tom and Tomahawk. But then he has like 1,000 other things like John Zorn type shit and like
he'll be like
Mondo
featured on
Kanye.
songs. He did that album with Dillinger that one year.
Right. The fucking that's such an irony is a dead scene.
Yeah, that's a great album. Didn't you say Max Cavalera? He like kicked it with Max Cavalera to learn how to scream.
Yeah, so there's a song on the it's not on the like official version of Roots, but it's like a B-side like from the deluxe version called Look Away. Have you heard that song? And it has Jonathan Davis and Mike Patton on it.
I have not.
And it's actually a pretty dope song. It's like one of the highlights of that record. But Patton's doing this like it was like around the time that Faith No More was recording King for a Day. And so Patton was doing this like this shit, like it's like almost like gremlin noises, like shit, like in the background of the and then that's a killer song. John Davis has.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard that song.
You never heard that song? Yeah,
I don't think so.
John Davis is doing this. He's like, "You look at me." He's like, "I look at you, and you look up." What?
Yeah,
it's like this really kind of dark, like fucking. It's pretty, and it's got like a tribal kind of it's pretty killer. Anyway, point being, Patton and Cavalera. I think it might not even just be Cavalera, but I saw Patton on a podcast with Andreas Kisser.
I was going to ask you, have either of you ever met him? Like,
Patton?
Like met him.
There's the double drummers. I've never met Patton, no.
Eric, you have?
Yeah.
Well, Eric.
I used to buy records from him.
Eric grew up in Eureka. I mean, he went to the same high school.
I didn't go to the same high school as he did, but we went to rivalry high schools, but he worked at the record store that I went to.
The Works.
Yeah, the Works. And
I didn't know he was from Utah.
No,
no. Eric grew up in Northern California.
Oh, okay. So
in Humboldt County.
I didn't know that.
So it was funny because the first album he recommended to me was Armored Saint, March of the Saints.
With John Bush.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd love to like talk to him and just like pick his brain. He seems like such a
I saw Faith No More play in Utah in 1998 at a club called Bricks, and my friend and I met Mike Borden.
Okay.
We talked to Mike Borden for a while, but Patton was kind of like he had already gone to like he's like, I'm not talking to people tonight. I'm done. Type shit.
He's
So
a
I
big
didn't get to
shot.
meet Patton, but I did get to talk to Mike Borden, who was very cool. And that was
Borden
they
played
were
with
touring
Ozzy.
behind Album of the Year, which I was thinking about today recently. Actually, Album of the Year, like what an underrated Faith No More record that is.
That's one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah, that's a great one, man.
I love that song, Strip Search.
Yeah, and
I
also
think you showed me that.
I really like it's kind of like Depeche Mode almost.
Yeah.
I also love the like later tracks on it. There's one called like Pristina that it's like this really
What's the
it's just
other
like a
song on there that
different
I really
kind
like?
of track. It's like just power chords and like a vocal
Last Cup of
melody.
Sorrow, I think, is on there, right?
Last Cup of Sorrow. Last Cup of Sorrow has the Sonic the Hedgehog sounds in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That's like,
yeah.
like the keyboard riff sounds like Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog.
I just
But
love
these-
that. He's such a good like hook writer too.
Patton.
Yeah, he
Oh,
always
yeah.
had, like I
Dude,
feel like
even the
to say-
Tomahawk stuff.
yeah. Well, like
Have you heard the
we
song
always
God
talk
Hates a
about it.
Coward?
Yeah, that's a good song. That's like the only Tomahawk song I really know.
Yeah.
But
They did that on the encore. But
we were
also
talking about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Rape This Day. Do you know Rape This Day?
No, I don't
Oh,
really know
man.
a lot of Tomahawk.
Rape This Day is another great one.
I was just gonna say we were talking about how Patton is. It's crazy how like unknowingly influential he is to so many bands. Like, because I notice it with like Glassjaw, like
Yeah.
Daryl Palumbo's obviously, and Deftones, but they both do that thing where they have like some kind of like weird verses, or they're doing some like different shit, and then they have like a big hook that's like a really
Yeah.
catchy like singy hook, and that's Patton's super good at that. He's
I
always
love this photo.
yeah, he's a fucking G. How old is he?
I mean, he's got to be. That's a good question. Wikipedia
Yeah.
or Google AI.
If you grew up with him, he's probably close to your age.
Nah, he's a little older than me.
Okay.
58 years old.
Okay.
Born January 27th of 1968. 1968.
So he's 2 years older than me.
In Eureka, California.
Yeah.
That's actually Daisha. Our cousins were just up there. They just saw. Daisha sent a picture of her with Darren.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she saw Darren. Darren Dryden is like one of our cousins who's kind of like. He just doesn't come around much. He's kind of like a hermit a little bit. It's not that he's a hermit. He's just he's living his own life.
Yeah.
I love Darren, man. He never came around. Anyway,
Have I ever met him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So basically, I wanted to segue that into a story about Faith No More, because we talked a lot about Faith No More, and this is Faith No More, like probably a more recent photo from when they did the Soul Invictus record. But they have reunited, and we talked a lot about it. So I thought this was a good article from Pitchfork. I thought we'd read a little bit of it and just chat about it. Faith No More reunited for real this time, apparently, after a series of ill-omened interviews. I liked that they said that too, ill-omened interviews, because there was kind of like a weird, like I think Roddy Bottom said like, yeah, the band's like on an indefinite hiatus or something.
Yeah.
And Bill Gould was kind of like, yeah, we're kind of like done for now. And Patton was kind of like, I can't remember what, but they all kind of like said stuff. And then now they're kind of, then they announced, hey, in 2027, we're going to be doing a bunch of shows. Mike
Definitely
Patton
will
and the
do
band
that.
have lined up 4 stadium shows in Australia down under with System of a Down. Their first live dates since 2016. Check out the full itinerary below. Faith No More have been reliably unpredictable since Patton joined as the permanent singer in 1988, launching an erratic and sometimes scandalous classic era that has lasted more or less until their first split in 1998, which was the year I saw them. And it was funny. I think I've told this story before, but when we talked to Borden, he literally said to us, he goes, Ozzy's leaving messages on my answering machine. Because it was like he was still in Faith No More. It was right before he went and joined Ozzy. Yeah. So when we talked to him, he goes, it was like, so it was kind of, and he told us at that time, I remember it so well, because he goes, man, we can go to Europe and play stadiums, but no one in the States appreciates us. You know what I mean? In the 90s, and like they were playing a small club tour with Limp Bizkit as the opener, and there were probably more people at that show to see Limp Bizkit than there were to see Faith No More. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't even doubt it. because a lot of my friends did.
So do they do well now, though? They do probably
What's that?
well now. Like now they probably do way better, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Now because now there's my generation
Yeah.
of like heads that appreciate it, and then people like
I was gonna say, dude, was it Faith No More on that show with like Korn and System of a Down pandemic?
So let's finish this real quick.
Okay.
A reunion tour on a greatest so they split in 98, reunion tour greatest hits LP in 2009. The band played on and off for the next decade, releasing first album in 18 years, Soul Invictus in 2015, and regrouping with former singer Chuck Mosley in 2016, a year before his death. The Rockers were set to reunite again in 2020, but canceled due to the pandemic. They rescheduled dates for 2021, but scrapped those, with Patton citing unspecified mental health problems. A second hiatus followed, during which Patton was diagnosed with agoraphobia and started drinking heavily. He reunited his grindcore outfit Dead Cross for an album, made a song for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, and continued to tour with his enduring high school band Mr. Bungle. A year or so later, its long-departed co-founder Theobald Langiel was charged with murder. We talked about that.
Mhm.
This February, Patton reunited with yet another one of his groups, Tomahawk, for their first show in 13 years, which we just talked about. Patton is not the only Faith No More member to publicly opine on the band and its future. Bill Gould and Mike Borden both gave grim assessments in interviews last April. Later that year, keyboardist Roddy Bottum prepared an album with Imperial Teen and released a memoir, The Royal We, in tandem with a series of confrontational readings designed to combat the racism and anti-trans and homophobic mindsets of the Trump era. He told The Guardian's Stevie Chick. Bottom later said Faith No More were on semi-permanent hiatus. While I respect Roddy Bottom, I think the trans thing is a psyop. That's my personal opinion. Anyway,
Maybe he's changed his mind now.
Put it in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, no, he's always been.
And you can say that with that shirt on too.
Yeah, I can see. The band teased the upcoming reunion with the cryptic post in June, and on July 26th, they confirmed their brief tour with System of a Down. In a joint Instagram post, the two groups will co-headline 4 dates in Australia and New Zealand in January and February next year. Those are all the dates for now, but if the comments section on their post is any indication, there's plenty of demand for a wider run. Those are the Australia dates. If you're in Australia, which you might be, we do have a tiny Australian audience. There you go. Not next year, basically January and February. You're gonna have the.
I wonder if so they're not touring in America.
They haven't booked anything yet in the United States, but guaranteed they will.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna make so much money. Like people, I mean, if they did a tour, they would fucking sell out.
Isn't Faith No More the biggest of all Mike Patton's bands? Am I correct in saying
Yes,
that?
of course. Faith No More is the reason Mr. Bungle has a record.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why it's interesting that you're telling me they weren't. I mean, I get it because Europeans and just other countries are more tapped into heavy metal than or just metal and stuff like that than Americans, it seems like.
Well, also at that time, it was 98. What was popular, ironically, was a genre new metal that Faith No More kind of was vastly influential on. You know what I mean? And Mike Patton, of course, hates that. I think they've grown up a little bit. There was a period where Patton was like, "Fuck all those people," but they give him so much respect now. I mean, how can you? Yeah. And Limp Bizkit and Korn have kind of stood the test of time in their own right. To some,
If anyone wants to just enjoy their 10 minutes, go and watch the interview of Mike Patton where he's eating a sandwich the entire time.
Dude,
that's so funny.
Where he goes, he's like, I think that computers should take over music. He's like, I think it'll make music a lot better when humans are not involved in making it. He's like, I think the worst part about music is that
he takes a bite of his turkey sub.
He's chewing a sandwich. See, that's the thing I always loved about Bungle and Patton just in general is even though he was wrapped up in that whole the pop culture of MTV because of Epic and Faith No More, he always kind of made fun of it. There's footage of him at the he's mocking Julie Brown at the MTV Movie Awards or the Music Awards.
Wish she needed to be mocked though.
Down, Julie Brown.
I was about to say, There's that one helmet.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Turned out he goes, high times, hard times.
Because I didn't know who, like,
Julie
I don't
Brown.
know who Julie Brown is until I hear that. I'm like, why is
That
he
riff
talking
is-
about Julie Brown?
Yeah, no, like it's such a dated reference, but
Yeah,
most people have no idea.
that
who
riff's so
Julie
hard
Brown
though. Yeah,
That riff is hard as fuck. That you can hear. Like I was listening to Helmet the other day and just thinking about how influential that band was. Underrated because Helmet came out. The Meantime record came out. Strap It On even before that, but the Meantime record came out right like before Korn. You know what I mean?
Bro, do you know Delaney listens to Helmet?
Really?
Yeah, she was playing some song off that Betty album, and I was like, "You listen to Helmet?" And she was like, "Yeah, I like some of their songs."
Betty's great. Betty's one of their
because he does, like you were saying, it's kind of that whole dynamic of where Helmet bridged the gap because he screams sometimes, but it's a lot more like alternative, kind of like suited for people who don't really like, who aren't big metalheads. A lot of them liked Helmet, like the Smashing Pumpkins kids and stuff. So I think it's that same kind of dynamic there. He's got a lot of songs where he's kind of singing and they're a little more like
Page Hamilton. That was that drop D tuning, man.
He's playing and singing.
There was a tour, and I've talked about this before, but it was Helmet, Pantera, and Sepultura. And there was like a whole, and it was Sepultura like when they were really good, like Chaos AD, Arise era Sepultura. Have you heard Arise? That's another underrated Sepultura record, but
that's a good album and a good song.
I think Chaos AD is my favorite Sepultura record because Chaos AD was like when they were on the verge of going into they kind of played a little bit with the like, hey, we're Brazilian, do tribal thing a little bit, but they didn't like lean all the way into it like they did with Roots, which I think is great in its own right. But also Roots has that like Ross Robinson, like Korn era type production.
I like Chaos AD probably the most. If I had to say anything else, it'd probably be like the earlier albums. Like Beneath the Remains. Yeah, Beneath the Remains.
Beneath the Remains is the album that got me into Sepultura. But do you like Sepultura at all, Eric?
Yeah, I don't mind it myself. It's funny because I saw them live at the Sabaton Open Air, and they were pretty good live.
Was that recently?
No, well, it was in the last 10 years.
Well, it was with Derek Green, huh? When Derek Green was singing. Honestly, I like the new Sepultura too without Max. Like a lot of their shit. They have some really cool because they also have the killerest drummers. They have Eloy Casagrande, playing drums for them.
They still have that Grayson
Recruitment.
I don't know if they still have them now. They have.
They're done. They're like they just finished their tour. But Derek Green of Sepultura, shout out Derek Green, friend of the show,
and Max Cavalera, friend of the show.
Yeah,
Max Cavalera, friend of the show. We actually have a Max Cavalera interview on our channel that Joey did. So, well, dude, let's talk about Anthrax because this is actually a really good story. And this article is long, so I don't know if we want to read the whole thing, but I think it's a good story. So, Dryden, just to kind of, me and Eric were talking about this before we came on, but when I was way into Anthrax in the late 90s when they got rid of Joey and brought John Bush in. But even before that, Persistence of Time, POT, for those who know, Persistence of Time is probably one of my favorite Anthrax records too. Like that era of Anthrax, they did like Persistence of Time, Attack of the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
I mean, before that was I'm the Man. I'm the Man was before Persistence of Time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm the Man was like basically in the 80s. But they did the I'm the Man record, they did Persistence of Time, and then they did Killer Bees. And those three records are just like fucking game changers. I mean, Anthrax was doing like metal thrash, like rap shit.
And they're kind of responsible a little bit for the new metal stuff.
New metal.
Because they
Public Enemy. So Aerosmith, fucking Run DMC was groundbreaking, cool shit. But like Public Enemy, Anthrax, Bring the Noise, that was the shit that like made me go, holy fuck, dude, this is hard shit. You know what I mean? The way that they fuse that shit.
Scott Ian and just loved the Public Enemy.
Scott Ian was such a huge rap fan, and then just like Public Enemy too was like a hard ass rap in that day.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I love that. Like the thing I loved, and I say this all the time, but like Public Enemy scared white people. Like that was the kind of fucking rap that like people like. They had like Black Panthers dudes in like berets at their shows and shit. You know what I mean? But they also toured with the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
So it was like but like that rap, that kind of like scare white people rap combined with like heavy guitar that fucking Anthrax was doing was just next level heavy. And you know, I obviously like bands like Faith No More get a lot of credit. Chili Peppers, I think, would as well for like new metal, kind of like the funk metal kind of hip hop fusion type shit. But Anthrax was like on it way before everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember when Bring the Noise and all that stuff came out, and then but I remember Anthrax before that, and I was like, this shit is good stuff.
Antisocial.
Yeah.
The first Anthrax song I ever heard was Antisocial from State of Euphoria on Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this because you got to think about this, dude. There was a singer before Joey.
Yeah.
People don't think about that. Neil Turbin was it Fistful of Metal? Was he on there?
Yeah, Fistful of Metal.
The original singer. So there was a singer before Joey, but the reason I brought up the whole 90s thing is because I remember reading in the press Scott Ian like talking shit about Joey a lot. Like he's like, fuck him, he's a pussy, like he can't. Scott Ian was even saying on Killer Bees and shit, he had to do a lot of the singing because Joey's voice wasn't heavy enough and shit, you know. And so this is actually a pretty cool story, kind of like, and credit to Scott Ian. Like I really want to talk to Scott because he's such a
bro. I told you, I low-key, I'm not gonna take it personal. But
yeah, you told us. I think we talked about this. You met him at the show with his kid. But also, the thing is, the reason I said that is I think he kind of like basically says in this, I was wrong, you know, with what I see. He admits he was wrong. So I respect that, you know, whatever. I know you guys played a show.
Well, I also know my place too. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh,
right.
He was a
every
fucking
celebrity
asshole. Like, you know,
wants,
he's got his own.
Well,
thing.
and also
he's fucking there for his son.
He's out there with his family, right? It's like there's a venue for that. Like if we have him on the show, then you can ask him all the questions you want, you know. But like when he's out there in the streets and shit, it's probably a little less fucking. But still, dude, did you walk up to him and say, "Yo, dude, I'm a huge fan" or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Well, was it a bunch of you?
It was just two of us.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, bro. But whatever, I get it. He was probably a little nervous too.
He's probably he's also in a, who knows what's going on. Like he's probably like dealing with his wife and kids. You know what I mean? It's like
he was
family guy. Anyway,
I'm
during
not
an appearance
gonna,
on the latest
I'll take it on
episode, right? During the Naked Lunch, a weekly podcast hosted by Somebody Feed Phil, creator Phil Rosenthal, and best-selling author and journalist David Wild, Anthrax guitarist Scott Ian reflected on the band's original split with singer Joey Belladonna and decision to replace him with Armored Saint's John Bush. Belladonna, whose most recent return to Anthrax was officially announced in May 2010, was originally the lead singer of Anthrax from 84 to 92 and was considered part of the influential thrash group's classic lineup alongside guitarist Dan Spitz and Ian, bassist Frank Bello, and drummer Charlie Benante. The only person who's not in the band now is Dan Spitz, which reunited and toured during 2005 and 2006. His voice was featured on over 10 albums, which reportedly sold 8 million copies worldwide. After one of the interviewers noted that Anthrax is one of those rare cases where a prominent singer was fired from the band only to be welcomed back. Nearly a couple decades later, Scott said, as transcribed by our good friends at Blabbermouth, this might as well be like the Blabbermouth news hour.
Yeah.
We read Blabbermouth so much.
But they take our shit too sometimes.
No. Blabbermouth is like the Drudge Report of metal news. They just combine everything in one spot, and I appreciate them for it. They take our shit when we break news and put it there, and we love them for it. It wasn't just me who felt that getting rid of Joey was the right move. It was a band decision back then. Whether we made the right or wrong decision, it's easy to, and I talk a lot about it in my book. But at the time, so he wrote a book in 2014. By the way, quick side note, 2014's I'm the Man, the story of that guy. My boy Chad, shout out Chad, gave me this book.
Okay.
And I read the first chapter of it. This book came out in 2013, so probably a year before Scott's. But we're going to talk about it on the show.
So I will say that I read Scott Ian's autobiography. I listened to it. It was amazing. I mean, the stories that he had in there, like from when they got busted down in Florida for spring training, he went onto the Yankees field and they stole some shit and stuff like that, and they got busted, and it was funny.
So at the time, he said it's a decision that had to have been made, and it sucks. Anytime like that, you're going through something, you're making kind of a change. It's the hardest, worst, stressful, just heartbreaking. Elaborating on the circumstances that led to the decision to replace Belladonna with Bush, Ian said, at the time, 91 going to 92, we felt like the band was moving musically in a direction that we felt like Joey couldn't be there with us anymore. And in hindsight, I said in my book that I was wrong, that if we would have really taken the time, there's no reason why. And this is no knock to John either, of course, because I love John Bush and John is a great singer. But 30 years ago by, and you've had time to think about stuff, especially when you're writing your book. And yeah, if we would have really just taken the time, there is a world where Joey could have sang on that record, Sound of White Noise, and it would have been a great album. And I don't mean that in any negative towards anybody. That made me think I could totally hear him singing on that album.
Yeah, so could I.
It's like he would have been great on it too. But I love what John Bush brought to the band too, man. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I love what John Bush has brought to metal. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, in Armored Saint as well as Scott added Joey.
Listen to enough Armored Saint.
Yeah, I talked to Gonzalo from Armored Saint a couple months ago.
Yeah,
on this channel. Go watch the interview. They just put out a new record. Eric got his Mike Patton recommended Armored Saint to Eric at the Works. Anyway, what they at some point, so Big Four shows. So Joey came back in 2010. He rejoined. We jumped right back out on the Big Four shows, which is where the show was. At some point, someone coined the phrase Big Four, maybe in the late 80s or something. Metallica, us, and Slayer, and Megadeth. We were the four bands of American thrash. But yeah, we asked Joey to rejoin in 2010, and he said yes. And it's been 16 years since Joey rejoined. Wow. It's been that long.
Yeah.
And we've done the best work we've ever done, and the band's better than it's ever been. And yeah, everything has just kind of took a turn. Everything's been on this path ever since. It's been incredible. I have to say, For All Kings is a fucking awesome record. Is Worship Music with Joey too? I'm pretty sure, right? Like, dude, yeah, they've been like. It's crazy how seamless it seemed for me as a fan of Anthrax. Like, it's not that I didn't notice, but it's like I never missed a beat. It was just like, oh, this is still great music. Like, it's still the same Anthrax. So they get into a little bit of the dramatics here. Asked how much healing had to be done on a personal level between Belladonna and the rest of Anthrax before the singer agreed to rejoin the band. Scott said, we'd never lost 100% contact over the years. We'd done a reunion thing in 05, 06, and even before that, here and there, we would bump into each other or something would come up. Belladonna had a band called Belladonna, too. Like, he did like a solo thing.
Well, he still does. He does like occasionally you'll see him. He'll do karaoke nights where he does like stuff at weddings. And he sings Journey songs.
I think he would have a great voice for that. That makes total sense. So anyway, 2010 literally happened where I'm pretty sure it was Charlie who reached out to Joey and said, hey, we're all going to be in the city. I was actually on tour with my wife's band at the time, Pearl, and she was playing at Webster Hall in New York. So I was going to be in town. Charlie reached out to Joey and said, hey, we're all going to be in the city. Do you want to come down and have coffee? Let's talk about stuff. Sure. So he came down. And we met that night. Pearl was playing. And that afternoon, me, Charlie, Frankie, and Joey got together and had coffee. And Charlie just said to him, we want you back in the band. Do you want to do it? And Joey said, yes, that's all I've ever wanted to do. It was that simple, that quick, and easy. And we picked up right where we left off. Ian added, the first time we got in the room and started jamming again, especially playing the old songs and hearing Joey sing songs like Madhouse and Medusa again, I had the chills. We did a reunion thing with him in 2005, 06, but it felt right. in 2010 when he came back. Back in March 2010, just a couple of months before Belladonna rejoined Anthrax, Scott and his wife Pearl. So this is where they kind of blabbermouth kind of like twist the knife a little bit.
Oh,
Scott and his wife Pearl Day appeared on an episode of VH1's That Metal Show and took part in the program's The Throwdowns feature, where guests and the host debated who's the best singer for Anthrax, Bush or Belladonna, countering co-host Eddie Trunk's point that Anthrax was in a unique position with Belladonna in the band of being able to play incredible speed metal while having someone who could sing like a bird. Ian said, "We didn't need a bird, we needed a lion." After Pearl offered that she was a huge fan of The Greater of Two Evils, a collection of re-recorded older Anthrax tunes with
those
Bush
were cool.
vocals.
That's a cool album.
Yeah. Instead of Belladonna, Ian said that's the way we as Anthrax wanted to hear those songs. Speaking to Radio Metal in August 2011, Benante was asked about Ian's That Metal Show comments. He said, "I think Scott had to eat some of the words he said about that. But he only said that because I think he left off things with Joey kind of bad, and their relationship wasn't very well back then when he said that. And I think Scott just harbored some ill feelings towards Joey, and I think that's kind of why he made that statement, you know." During an appearance on November 2023 episode of Chuck the Shoot podcast, Belladonna was asked about the fact he was fired twice by Anthrax before rejoining the band 16 years ago. Belladonna said, "Yeah, it just seems rotten. I don't know what to say. Every time I say something like that, it's always just this bitter vibe, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? What else am I supposed to say? Is there a better story? I wish I had one. I don't." Asked if he still carried resentment or anger toward his bandmates for the way he was treated, Joey told the Chuck the Shoot podcast, or the Chuck Shoot podcast, excuse me. I said Chuck the Shoot. What the fuck am I? Chuck the Shoot. The Chuck Shoot podcast. I thought it was like some kind of gangster name, like Chuck the Shoot. They call him Chuck the Shoot. I can't forget. I carry on with it. Things are good, but you know what? It's like anything else. It's still there. And I think everybody's trying to be sincere, and hopefully they are sincere. I don't need lots of pats on the back because I do my thing. It does suck that I felt like I didn't live up to the dream that was there. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I thought I was doing great. The now 65-year-old upstate New York-based singer previously reflected on his initial departure from Anthrax during an August 2022 appearance on the Beer, Rum, and Rock and Roll podcast. Belladonna said, "I didn't quit. Like, I wanted to sit around for 13 years while these guys just kept going. People don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. Why would I quit? Forget about that record without me," he continued, apparently referring to Sound of White Noise. "I could have been on that record regardless of what they came up with. Let's just pretend they didn't even write that record yet. That record would have been cool too, regardless of what you've already familiar with. I'm not saying whatever was on there wasn't right. I was in that car that rode into that record. I got sideswiped out of there. So yeah, I didn't quit," Joey added. "I didn't quit anything. I don't want anybody thinking that because I wouldn't even have the heart to do that." Belladonna also addressed the fact that he returned to Anthrax despite having been publicly dissed by some other members in the band in various interviews over the years. "Some people are like, why the hell are you back with them? Why would you go back? That's stupid, man. You're an idiot. She cheated on you twice, dude. Don't go back to her. Come on, man. She's just going to go out with that other guy tomorrow night," he said. It took them a long time to go, "You suck. We didn't like you that much. And now you're all right. Every day I walk in their presence in the room knowing that these people felt that way because I never felt that way about them," Joey admitted. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. And he's been with them still for 16 years despite that. "I don't feel that way about those people. I respect and I highly recommend everything that they do. Obviously, I'm back and I dig what we're doing now. I dig what we're doing, but it's hard. It's hard. You get a complex, you know." I want to pause there for a second because I think what happened in that era, especially too, is it became uncool. Metal, like that kind of metal, that kind of vocal style in 92 was not cool. It was like, "Oh, you're gonna do the 80s stuff. Come on, guy." So you know what I mean? It's kind of like they're kind of like, "Yeah, well, you gotta go, dude. We don't like your style anymore."
Sounds
so I kind of don't blame them for what they did, but in retrospect, it's kind of like too. It's like, you know, everybody got dragged into it. Machine Head made a fucking album where they spiked their hair out and wore baggy pants and shit. In 2021, the members of Anthrax opened up about their 1992 split with Belladonna in a 40th anniversary video focusing on the making of the aforementioned Sound of White Noise album. Regarding the decision to part ways with Belladonna, Ian said, by the time we finished the 1.5-year touring cycle, 2021 months touring cycle, and then Killer Bees comes out, I think the last thing we did together as a band with Joey was our appearance on Married with Children. And then it wasn't long after that we made the change, but it wasn't a quick decision. We were very much a united front, the four of us, because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. There's never an easy way to talk about this stuff. He continued, certainly when you're in the thick of it, when it's happening, it's horrible. When you're having to make a decision like this, but it's really just came down to creatively, we all just felt like there was no way for the band to move forward. We had just hit a wall. It was the heaviest decision in the history of the band, certainly, and even that I feel like it doesn't give the weight that it needs. There was never anything personal with Joey. It was never personal with him. It really just came down to the creative ability for the band, honestly, to move forward. And I hate that it's something that happened. So again, it's like they went like, and they were on a major label. They had like all this pressure. Dave Jordan, who produced Alice in Chains, produced that record. I'm sure the label was part of it. They're like, you guys kind of still sound like an 80s band. I don't know. And like, I don't blame them.
I mean, Metallica even changed during that time.
Oh, I like this. Sorry, I had to go to the comments real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. So I wish I had more. So that's to give that context real quick, that comment. I made a video about Botch, the band, and it's like basically more of like a story video about the band rather than like a live stream, whatever. So I wish I had more time to do that kind of shit. And now that we're monetized again, I do. But a lot of our videos, my guy, are just us yapping about some bullshit. So thanks for jumping on, and thanks for leaving the comment. Appreciate it. Anyway, back to this story here. Obviously, things are meant to be, Scott added. I'm somewhat of a spiritual person. I've seen it done enough in my life. Sometimes shit just doesn't happen randomly. The way everything worked out in the end, with Joey coming back in 2010 and the band for the last 11 years being creatively better than we've ever been and in a better place than we've ever been, I have to say, I really believe it all worked out for some reason. That doesn't make it any easier on Joey, certainly. There's nothing I can say that ever would. Bello said about Belladonna's exit from the group, it's so strange for me to even talk about this now because Joey's back in the band now, and it's like he's never been gone. It was a hard thing when Joey was out. He admitted it was a change, but I think it was best for the band because of where we were going. It was a hard decision. I think we're going a different way musically, and you could hear it. Added Benante, the 1991 me was more arrogant than I am now, because the problem is I love Joey so much, and at the time we were different people doing it, and we felt this was the only thing for us to take us to the next level or the next chapter of the band. Exactly. They got caught up in the grunge era pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nirvana was out. Alice in Chains was big. They're like, dude, guitar solos are done. That 80s vocal style has to go. I would not doubt it if like a manager or a promo, you know what I mean? Someone at the label was like, dude, that vocal style's out of style, man. You guys got to stop. You can't have that guy anymore. 1,000%. Ian previously opened up about the decision to fire Belladonna nearly 3.5 decades ago in his 2016 appearance on WTF with Mark Maron. He stated at the time, I just truly didn't have the patience anymore. I think my biggest problem was I was writing the words, and I couldn't deal with the fact anymore that someone else was singing my lyrics, but I couldn't sing. There's no way I could be the singer of Anthrax. I think it really, really did come down to that I couldn't stand it anymore. These are my words. These are my feelings. It's my emotions, and you're not me. And even learning the songs and hearing them back, that's not how I hear it in my head. No, like this, like this, like this, like this. That makes sense. I didn't know Scott wrote a lot of the lyrics. He continued, my solution at the time was turning around to the rest of the band saying it's either Joey or me. I pulled the same shit Neil Turbin pulled years before that. I said, I can't do this again. We need to make a change. And it wasn't just me holding the gun. Everyone was on the same page. Everyone felt like what we had done as Anthrax in the 80s into the early 90s, we had already moved past that. The sound was changing. If you listen to Persistence of Time musically, that record has more to do with Sound of White Noise, the first John Bush record, than it has to do with State of Euphoria. That makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah. The previous Anthrax album. Musically, we were already going somewhere else, but Joey, for us, I guess at the time, I felt like he's not representing us anymore. Ian went on to say that he has since come to see Joey's unique vocal contributions in a different light than he did more than 20 years ago. Of course, I spent a year of my life writing a book and looking back on that time and really kind of getting back into those shoes. And we should have given the guy a shot, he said. Why didn't we give him the shot? I really don't know why we weren't able to, because I remember Johnny Z, our manager, he was, are you sure? Are you sure this is the decision you want to make? Yes, yes, yes. So, wow, that's interesting. I was like almost accusing their management of pressuring it, but the management was like kind of hesitant about it. The guitarist added that at least part of the reason Anthrax made a singer change was to take the sound in a heavier direction, something that they didn't think was possible with Belladonna at the helm. That's what Scott said. I remember, like I said earlier, in the guitar interviews I was reading, he was like, Joey's voice isn't heavy enough. Also, you have to remember, what was the like rising metal band in 92? Pantera. That was like the new, like people were like, oh dude, all this 80s screamy shit is dead. Like we need to go, grunge is big, Pantera's like coming up. You're not going to get away with, like, Metallica had gone alternative. Put out Load.
Yeah. Actually, there's parts of Sound of White Noise, like, before, obviously, because for me, I'm coming in like they had already dropped all these records. Not knowing that they had a different singer, there's parts of Sound of White Noise that I definitely thought were Joey initially.
Yeah. No, that's cool, actually. And that's kind of the point he's making, too, is which I think is interesting. It would be interesting to hear Joey. They should, you know how they did that Lesser of Two Evils thing, Eric, where they had Bush come and do the old. They should have Joey do some of the Bush era songs.
They do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I know they do live.
No, I mean they do. I think there's some recording. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey would crush on a song like Only.
Yeah.
His voice would sound so. The other thing is, I think with age, Joey's voice has gotten like more worn and rugged sounding too. Yeah. Like he can still
He's perfected it.
Yeah, he can still hit. The thing is too, is that vocal, so he has like more the Halford, Bruce Dickinson vocal style, you know? And I didn't appreciate that when I was a kid either, because I was a child of that era. That was like 92 was like when I was into my teen years and I was listening to music. And I didn't like fucking Priest and Maiden back then. I was a little faggot. Sorry, excuse me. I probably shouldn't have said that. I was a little.
You have the shirt on. It's okay.
I didn't really get into grunge. Because grunge was.
I just heard what you said, Dred.
You're good, bro. You can say.
I need to. I say that word too, like freely.
I was saying that to Delaney the other day when we were driving, because I was driving home from work, and I was like, "Dude, I need to chill on that."
It's not a slur for me either. Like I love Louis C.K. has the best breakdown of it. Have you seen that?
No.
Have you seen Louis C.K.'s breakdown of the F word? Where it's so funny because he tells a story about this kid who like they're trying to do something, and the kid like goes and tells the mom or something, and he's like, "That kid's a." And I'm like, he's like, it's not a gay person. It's that
the
kid.
South Park episode.
Yeah, the
bikers.
The bikers. Oh my god, that's
like and the judge is like a gay guy. He's like,
I love it when they're talking about like bike curious and stuff, and then they're in the court, and the guy's like, "This is making way too much sense."
Sorry, Eric. What were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, for me, Joey Belladonna's voice was more of my style, so I was sad to see him go because I wasn't into the grunge thing as much. I held on to the Maiden and the Priest.
You're an '80s guy.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I like now you can appreciate the grunge stuff more because it's the same for me with the '80s stuff, dude. I didn't even like Maiden until 2000s, like until fucking
like
Brave New World. It was Brave New World that got me into Maiden. When I heard that record, I was like, "Oh, now I get it, dude."
Well, the first song I heard from Maiden was "Run to the
Wicker
Hill,"
Man.
and I was like, "Bro,
Wicker Man."
Well, the first song I ever heard from Maiden was "Run to the Hills," and I was like,
"Run to the Hills." Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, "Run to the Hills" is okay.
Then I heard the Wicker Man and like "Hallowed Be Thy Name" and all that.
"Hallowed Be Thy Name" is now probably that's probably like my favorite.
Hallowed, not Hallowed.
"Hallowed Be Thy Name." Doesn't get much more epic than that.
Yeah, that's bad.
Anyway, I wanted it to be harder. Ian said I couldn't do it, but I wanted someone who could almost. I didn't want Lemmy. I didn't want it to sound like that. I wanted it to be harder, and John Bush brought it for sure. Belladonna had been critical of Anthrax's decision to fire him at the height of the band's success, telling Mike James Rock Show 11 years ago, "Personally, it sucks to think all those years went by that I didn't really have a chance to do anything because I could have sang on any of those records that were made during the John Bush era. Not to say that what they did was whatever reason and whatever style and all that stuff. I could have easily sang that regardless, no bones. It would have been easy to sing. It's just, I think they were chasing some other idea. I always say that, whether they disagree. I don't think there was any reason to move, but you know what? We're here now." Bush told Metal Talk about the task of replacing Joey Belladonna in Anthrax in 1992. "I respect Joey Belladonna. He did great for Anthrax in his heyday and in the years that he made records and they were popular. You know, I think I just went out and did it from my heart and just said, hey, I'm going to go out and kick ass and sing the best of my ability. And I think we made some great records. I just think they were different records than what Anthrax did in the 80s. And he's right. He continued, "The funny thing is sometimes there was this, oh, we're the same band. Oh, we're the same band. And looking back, well, we kind of were a little different band. I think we were. But at the time, we kept trying to convince people, oh, it's the same band. It's the same band. But when you make a singer change, the sound will change a little bit, which that was what the intention was at the time." Anthrax's long-awaited 12th full-length studio album, Cursum Proficio, will arrive September 18th via Megaforce in the U.S. and Nuclear Blast in Europe. I love that they're still with Megaforce, man.
Yeah, so do I.
Johnny Z, the OGs, like that's like so much loyalty on that front.
So I would say that, if anybody has a chance to go read the Scott Ian autobiography,
his bio.
Yeah.
All right, gang.
That's right.
No, you're good, man.
Had to fill up my water.
You're not chained. You're not chained to the chair.
Had to fill up my water and take a pee.
Speaking of Sound of White Noise or Persistence of Time, it's right there.
And you got the Countdown to Extinction. That's another one of my top tier records. Well, guys, let's talk about Slipknot. Do you know about this?
Yeah.
I saw this.
Sid Wilson out of Slipknot. It seems like Sid's had a rough couple of rough
what
year
happened
too.
recently? Didn't something happen recently?
Did you see this,
Well,
Dryden?
I just want to know who he went to for those glasses.
Dude, he's raw. He's very I thought kind of got some Post Malone energy going here.
I'm thinking more
Post Malone energy.
like the serial killer. What's his name? John
Wayne Gacy.
No, the other one.
Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer kind of.
Yeah, the Jeffrey Dahmer
He
glasses.
does have the
for
Jeffrey
sure.
Dahmer glasses.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's going for.
He could be. Well,
Maybe that's why they
he's
fired him. They were like, "Fuck."
he's had a rough go of it. To put it as the British would say.
Stupid ass boy. Hey, look.
Earlier today, this is from Friday, August 14th, exactly 2 weeks after TMZ reported that DJ and keyboardist Wilson, 49, had been permanently removed from Slipknot, ending his 28-year run with the Iowa-based metalers. The band shared the following statement via social media. Effective immediately, Slipknot will no longer be associated with Sid Wilson. We wish him the best in his future endeavors. On August 3rd, TMZ shared a follow-up report indicating Sid's exit from Slipknot was a long time coming. And the decision to kick him out of the band came after the group finally had enough of Sid's behavior, namely the way he treated his bandmates. That's interesting.
What did he do?
Yeah, that now I'm like curious. I don't know if they go into detail here. According to TMZ, Slipknot was planning to announce Sid's departure the first week of August, but the band lost control of the rollout when TMZ first reported Wilson's dismissal on July 31st. The same day that Wilson's exit from Slipknot was first reported, the band's guitarist Jim Root shared a cryptic Instagram stories post, that appeared to address the reported drama, soundtracked by Slipknot's 2008 song "Till We Die." "Don't believe anything you read," Jim Root wrote. "Stop, think, take a breath, sit with it for a while, maybe even wait till there's more information." Wilson had been a member of Slipknot for nearly 3 decades, joining in 1998, shortly after the release of the band's self-titled debut record.
Was he a keyboard player or something?
He's a DJ. Yeah. I mean, he's responsible for probably one of my favorite Slipknot tracks, which is Eyeless. The opening drum and bass riff. The drum break, yeah.
Amen break.
Amen break. Is that what it is? May of 2020.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, like the Amen brothers.
The Amen break?
Yeah, that's
from Amen. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a crazy. Like so many songs are made from that sample, and they never saw a dime.
It's like that.
It's very typical of music greats like blues
That's
players.
all knowledge too. To like put that in there, that's like.
Yeah, that was built.
Good.
Anyway, in May 2022, Sid and his now former fiancee, Kelly Osbourne, daughter of Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, announced on Instagram that they were expecting their first child together. Sydney was born in November 2022 and shares both of his parents' last names. Sid started dating Kelly in 2022 after being good friends for a number of years. And in July 2025, it was announced that Wilson and Osbourne got engaged at Black Sabbath's farewell show, just weeks before Ozzy's death. I remember Ozzy's reaction too. It was kind of like, he was kind of like sarcastic, like "fuck you" or something, "fuck off."
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And now it makes sense because it's like it seems like, you know, I don't know.
They heard and like got married before he like passed away.
Because it was almost like Homeboy wanted to like get Ozzy's blessing before he passed, but then Ozzy was kind of like "fuck off" or something. He said, I remember because it was like a public thing. Anyway. This past March, it was reported that Kelly and Sid had split. They were said to have quietly ended their engagement weeks earlier, according to the Daily Mail. They were last pictured together at the Grammy Awards in February. As a member of Slipknot, who use numerical stage names ranging from 0 to 8, Wilson was known as Zero, producing sound effects and background noises for the group's music. Since 2000s, Wilson had also occasionally toured under the name DJ Starscream, which derives from the Transformers character of the same name. Starscream was one of the jets in Transformers. Slipknot's most recent live performance was at Incarceration, a music and tattoo festival in Ohio in July 2025. Oh, this is actually kind of funny. This was like the post that Slipknot put out. It was like, it reminded me of like this corporate like a corporate letterhead.
Yeah, it's funny. All the comments were like, "Fuck Slipknot." They're a corporate. They actually are saying that too. They're like,
it's like a corporation now.
Yeah.
Didn't they like sell all their shit together? To be fair though, too, it's kind of like, who knows what's going on behind the scenes? From what I'm gathering from this, he was becoming a burden to like the process of like releasing music and touring. And
they don't want to be like, "Hey, this dude like is a drunk alcoholic or whatever." Like,
he's not showing up for practice. He's not like ready to go on tour. He's missing fucking recording sessions, wasting our fucking time. When a band runs like a business, it's like fuck. And
at that level too, the level they're at, like they're
not playing, dude. They're like, dude, we got our touring cycle coming. We got to release our album. Like, they're not. There's lots of money on the line. I mean,
he doesn't. I mean, not to, like, knock the DJ. He definitely does help, but he.
Oh, I mean,
he doesn't do the most work of all the members.
Right. Dude,
I was just gonna say that it was probably funny to the other guys that they were like, "Why is this dude that he's not even a musician? Why is he?
He's not even playing an instrument.
Why is he giving me shit?"
No, it is an instrument.
Why is this guy still on the payroll?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Deftones has a DJ. Like, he just like adds sound effects and stuff that you don't really realize, but they do enhance the song. But I just, it is true. Like, he's not like playing the guitar or like screaming or anything.
Yeah.
Just banging his head and pressing a button.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, well, also it's like, dude, Slipknot. Slipknot? The first Slipknot record came out in 1999, right? It was like, I mean, they're 25 years strong, like heavy metal band, like brutal heavy metal band. Obviously they got some pop shit going on there, but they're like that level of heaviness on the charts and shit. Like, I'm all for it. Say what you want about Slipknot. I applaud them on every, and obviously I'm a fan of a ton of their music. But not every band's gonna always put out a record you love every time. What are you gonna do? It's just that's how art works.
Yeah.
People got to be free to experiment. So anyway, Goodbye, Sid. So Eric, you're gonna like this one because you were screaming this at me drunkenly the other night, and I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah.
What was good? Wednesday 13 on upcoming collaboration with John 5. Couldn't be a better thing for me to do. So I didn't realize what they were doing here, but it's kind of cool. In an interview with Neil Jones of Total Rock, Wednesday 13 spoke about the recent announcement he will team up with John 5 and the legendary guitarist solo band The Creatures for a summer-fall 2027 tour season. This is the first time John's band will include a singer, and to mark the occasion, it will take a journey through his musical past, playing songs from Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Motley Crue, David Lee Roth, along with solo favorites. Dope. I want to see this.
And see, I think Wednesday 13 can pull that shit off easy.
Oh, I love to hear him singing David Lee Roth shit, man.
Yeah.
John 5 and the Creatures featuring Wednesday 13 have announced their first show for 2027 Wacken Open Air Festival.
Nice.
Okay, we need to get Brutal Planet company trip to Wacken Open Air Festival next year. Let's do this, guys.
Let's put a donation box for everybody.
Yeah. We should cover Wacken Open Air Festival on the channel next year.
Yeah, we should.
Live coverage of Wacken Open Air Festival from Germany. Set to take place July 20th, 31st in Wacken, Germany, with more dates to be announced soon. We love you, Germany. Asked by Neil Jones how his collaboration with John 5 came about, Wednesday 13 said, I've known John for a while. I toured with Rob Zombie, and when he was with Alice Cooper, Murder Dolls, we did a tour for a full year. Toured America, we toured Australia, so I became friends with John, and then we did some solo shows together. And I don't know when it was, but I always see him. We're in LA, guys, with his connection with Manson. Manson's a good friend of mine, so I see him at Manson's parties and events and things like that, and we just keep in touch. We have the same booking agent, and the idea came up, and it was like, would you want to be a part of this? And it was like, I couldn't be better thing for me to do, because the bands he's been involved in are all my favorite bands I grew up on, bands that influenced my sound. Motley Crue, Marilyn Manson, White Zombie, Rob Zombie, all that stuff. I mean, that's what I sound like. So to sing those songs is a natural for me to do it. And I'm glad that John saw that in me. He's always been a big supporter of me and my voice, and always complimented me. Oh, you've got the coolest signature. Your voice is so unique. So it's really cool, an honor to play with someone like that. I compare it. It's very similar to Joey Jordison, who was the best drummer. And you go, why is this guy playing with me? And here I've got John 5, equivalent, greatest guitar player. And he's like, oh, I want you to do this. It makes me not feel like such a dipshit. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
That's very humble of him. Aspen fans can expect to see Wednesday 13 and John 5 play their first official show together. The singer said, I think should mute your shit if you're going to hammer on that shit while I'm reading.
Oh, it's not muted? What the fuck? It's not muted?
I mean, I do it too, but just while I'm reading.
Wait, it wasn't muted?
If I'm trying to make it short, bro.
No, we heard you tapping on it.
The fuck? I
Yeah,
literally had it muted.
I do the same
You
thing.
hear me?
Do you have? Yeah.
You can hear me right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well that's the issue, because
Why don't you push
I
mute
pressed
on
the button on my microphone to mute it, and usually it
Your
does.
mic
mute
sucks.
it,
Push
but-
it on fucking StreamYard.
Yeah.
Just push the
I thought
button
it
on
was muted
StreamYard.
this whole time. I've just been fucking being loud in the mic.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I said something then. You weren't doing it on purpose.
Shit. All right.
So just tap the little mic button on StreamYard.
There you go.
and you can- yeah. You
We
can
saw
get
it.
No, it's just I was like eating and like fucking doing all this shit. I thought my mic was muted the whole time.
Probably went in the bathroom and took a dump, and we could hear it.
God damn.
That would actually be pretty great if that. We could make it into a short.
Yeah.
First, we're a little rusty. It's our first week back.
Dryden takes a dump on stream.
Yeah.
Have you seen Naked Gun?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
You know the scene when he's like, he's giving a speech at the police academy, and then he leaves his mic on and he goes in to take a piss. And he's
Yeah.
like his mic's like all playing his like you
Yeah.
can hear him taking a piss, and he's like farting and like ripping
Yeah.
farts and stuff. Have you ever seen Naked Gun, Dryden?
I feel like I have, but maybe
Those
not.
movies, I don't think you have actually. But like those movies, the Naked Gun movies and the Hot Shots movies, those are classics. They're not. I don't know if they're close to Monty Python level, Monty Python's like just way more intelligent and timeless, but those are just like stupid funny. Like Airplane, you probably seen Airplane.
Yeah.
It's one of the stupidest. It's to this day the funniest movie ever made.
Yeah.
A hospital, what is it? It's a big building with doctors and patients, but that's not important right now.
The shit's gonna hit the fan.
What's that?
The shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah. Just like when Mrs. Brady's like, or Mrs. Cleaver is like, excuse me, pardon me, I speak jive. And then she like leans over to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. She's like, cut me some slack, Jack.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this story. When his collaboration with Wednesday 13 was first announced in early August, John 5 said in a statement, "I've really missed playing these songs that for years were so much a part of my life. Having such an amazing showman as Wednesday 13 join me will ensure performances are killer. And to have the first show we announced be Wacken Festival in 2027 is truly awesome. I'm totally going to this tour." Wednesday 13 added, "I'm absolutely thrilled to be sharing the stage with John 5. He has been such a staple in the music world, is one of the best and most respected guitarists out there. John and I have been friends for years, and we toured together with our bands going all the way back to 2010. They're all the projects he's involved in over the years are my favorite bands. Been such an influence on me." We already said that. For over 30 years, John 5 has been one of the most in-demand guitar players on the planet. You get the idea.
And behind us is Wednesday 13.
We love John 5 and Wednesday 13.
No one in high school knew what the word anti-Semitic was until Ye made it popular.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let us continue moving. I think I wanted to talk a little bit about this Quicksand record because I don't want to. We don't have to necessarily read this whole record, but it's a quick interview with Sergio Vega of Quicksand, and he also played in the Deftones for a little while they were without a permanent bass player. But I listened to the new Quicksand record, and it's so good. It's called The Psychics Are In or something like that. It's going to say in here. But also another band that I think is highly underrated. I think like their album Slip. One of my friends always raged about how like everyone ripped off Quicksand. And I really do think if you listen to Slip, kind of like the bass and guitar style they were doing back then was like very similar to what Tool ended up kind of doing. And it and by the same token, Faith No More was doing similar stuff. But Quicksand is definitely one of those bands who, and honestly, Walter Schruffels of Quicksand is also has another he was in Gorilla Biscuits. He's in have you ever heard of Rival Schools? You probably remember some of the Rival School stuff, Dryden.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot. But the guy is just a goddamn legend. And the Quicksand, it's really cool to hear a band like Quicksand come back with like another great album. The first song on this record reminds me of the band Snapcase. Like it's that heavy. It like shocked me actually. I was like, oh wow, dude, they're doing like, it sounds like Snapcase. It sounds like hardcore, So they're doing like some heavy shit, and but the album's not all heavy shit, So anyway, let's plow through this real quick, because we got some other good stuff on the other side of this as well. The first thing Sergio Vega wants to talk about isn't Quicksand's new album. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sergio, did we just become best friends? Within minutes, we're comparing New York pizza, laughing about the city's impossible bathroom situation, and swapping stories about traveling through Manhattan. It isn't exactly where you'd expect an interview promoting one of the year's strongest post-hardcore records to begin, but that's what makes Vega such an engaging conversation. There isn't a hint of rock star distance about him. Whether he's talking comic books, football, superstitions, or the philosophy behind hardcore, every answer comes across with the same warmth and curiosity. That personality runs straight through Bring On the Psychics. That's the name of the album. Quicksand's first album in 5 years, and another reminder that the New York pioneers have never been interested in standing still. More than 3 decades after helping shape post-hardcore, they're still writing records that feel driven by excitement rather than expectation. If anything, Vega reckons this is the most locked in the band has ever been. To speak to the album in general, I think it's like an accumulation of just the momentum we've developed since we came back together, he says. When we did our first album, when we came back together, Interiors, we had all been playing on some level still. We all had these individual experiences, We had been apart for a long time, and it took us a while to understand where we were, what we were. Years later, that uncertainties disappeared. I think this is the most calibrated and fine-tuned as a band that we've ever been. We've been around each other so much and shared so much. There's a couple things we're trying to get across. It doesn't matter how we get there. There's one other kind of part I wanted to talk about before we. So he talks about, he says, instead of copying sounds, he's more interested in understanding why artists take creative risks in the first place. I love Bad Brains, but I don't want to copy their thing. I understand that they're brave enough to take a path unfollowed. That's inspiring. It's an outlook that's followed Quicksand throughout their career, then helped define post-hardcore without ever sounding confined by it. Something Vega believes comes down to how people misunderstand hardcore itself. I think about hardcore as a culture. It's a way of being more so than a sound. It's not how you dress or what your band sounds like. It's more your overall ethos, how you relate to the audience, how you relate to each other, and how you relate to the world. Thank you, Sergio. So the new Quicksand album is actually really, really good. Everyone should check it out.
I haven't heard it. I'll listen to it. I love Quicksand. Yeah,
I had that article is really long, so I thought we would just kind of touch on some of the finer points. But our favorite Rockstar Daughter is at it again, folks.
Oh yeah,
Kelly Osbourne blasts spectacularly classless D. Snider for trying to diminish Ozzy's abilities and achievements. You know what I was thinking before we get into this? I want to run this idea I had by you guys, okay? Eric?
Yeah.
I want to know what you think about this. You too, Dryden. So, a story like this, as a channel like Brutal Planet, I've kind of tried to shy away from like the more gossipy type stories like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is like what he said, she said, da 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 type stuff, you know? But I think we should have a segment, and we'll just be honest, we'll call it For the Clicks.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this one's for the clicks, you guys. All right, check it out. Here's the story.
Nobody really wants to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it because it's for the clicks.
It's for the clicks.
Yeah.
It's not even that nobody wants to talk about it. It's just like one of those gossipy stories that, like, do we really fucking care? But also, it's interesting. And for the clicks. Kelly Osbourne blasts spectacularly classless D. Snider for trying to diminish Ozzy's abilities and achievements. Now, the other thing is, I kind of, as I was clipping this article, I kind of read some of what was going on here, and I think I want to get you guys' takes. Let's put it that way.
Well, my first take is why is D. Snider classless?
Yeah, well, you're about to find out, Eric. You're about to find out.
Okay.
Kelly Osbourne has blasted D. Snider for trying to diminish Ozzy Osbourne's abilities and achievements after the Twisted Sister frontman questioned Ozzy's songwriting contributions. That's why he's classless. You don't question the songwriting contributions of the dead, Eric.
That's what our homie...
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Raw homeboy that was on the stream with us.
Yeah, there's a whole thing going on with people about Ozzy where they, like, he said Dio's the real king. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to say that Dio isn't a great artist, but it's kind of like the Lars Ulrich thing where it's like, okay, he's on the fucking album and he plays the songs live. So I don't really give a fuck what you're...
Yeah.
If he wrote it or someone else did, like...
Yeah, like with the thing with Dave Mustaine. Where he's like,
I'm sure
Lars doesn't deserve writing credits. Like, dude, he wrote the drum part. Okay, fucking just give him 2% goddamn writing credit, you asshole, and let them. Anyway, let's finish this. So, D also made a pointed remark about Ozzy's wife and longtime manager Sharon Osbourne. The war of words between D and Kelly began after a fan brought up late Motorhead frontman Lemmy Kilmister's songwriting and musical contributions to Ozzy Osbourne's 1991 No More Tears album, on which Lemmy is credited with co-writing several songs, including I Don't Want to Change the World, Mama, I'm Coming Home, and the title track, and Hellraiser. Snider wrote, I know too much about the truth behind the scenes. Let's just say that Sharon doesn't like to share. Interesting. So, okay, that's what D said. When someone later noted that bassist Bob Daisley claimed to have written a load of lyrics for Ozzy's No More Tears album before being sacked for the final time, Snider responded, "A load? How about all the lyrics? Ozzy always had bass players write his lyrics. Black Sabbath bassist Geezer Butler wrote all of Black Sabbath's lyrics. Daisley wrote lyrics for the first 2 solo albums. I'm pretty sure he was paid to write on other records but not credited, and Lemmy wrote lyrics." A fan later commented they love a frontman who doesn't write his songs but has such a way to bring them to the people. To which Snider responded, "Many singers don't write their own songs but make them their own." Fair. After Snider's remarks, Kelly took to her Instagram stories to write, "My father's legacy as a musician, songwriter, singer, and bandleader speaks for itself. His friends, those who worked with him, those who loved him, and millions of fans around the world that still continue to buy his records know exactly what he meant and what he contributed and what he leaves behind. His legacy will live on eternally." Kelly's like the Meghan McCain of rock music.
Yeah.
She then followed up with a lengthier post, which read at the top, "D. Snider, your last hit, not to age myself, was the year I was born over 40 years ago, referring to Twisted Sister's We're Not Going to Take It, released in 1984. Actually, I think he wrote a Christmas song that was a hit after that. But she
should
had
have responded with that. He should have been like,
What's that?
"Actually, I wrote a Christmas song."
Yeah.
That's how he should have responded.
She added, "There's something spectacularly classless." There you go, Eric. There's the answer to your question.
Okay.
"There's something spectacularly classless about D. Snider trying to diminish my father, Ozzy Osbourne, and his extraordinary abilities and achievements when he's no longer here to challenge his allegations." Yeah, it's kind of like the Michael Jacksons. We're going to sue Michael Jackson for pedophilia after he's dead, when we testified in court that he didn't touch us when he was alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, particularly when Snider cannot claim to know the private reality of my father's life simply by looking in from outside or from hearsay or from a delusional man with a vendetta against my father, when to the best of my knowledge, they were maybe in the same room once, if even at all. And if Snider wants to invite comparisons between their careers, that comparison is devastating enough on its own.
She kind of cooked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That just kind of.
If I was Snider, I'd have been like, "Yo, bitch, my song was in SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Goofy Goober song, bitch. What you gonna do?
There you go.
I'm a Goofy Goober. Goofy Goober."
It's true.
It's difficult not to wonder whether Snider's attempt to belittle my father is simply a way of getting people to talk about him again. Because musically, the music industry moved on from Snider's commercial peak decades ago, while my father's name, catalog, and influence still remains globally relevant. America, fuck yeah!
So my thing would be, why is Kelly Osbourne having to defend her dad? Because it's
she needs attention. My father doesn't need D. Snider's approval. Here's why, Eric. To establish his place in music history. And trying to make my father smaller won't make D. Snider bigger. It only reminds everyone of the enormous difference between their legacies and further proves she just can't stop kicking him.
No.
Yeah, it was
further proves how irrelevant Snider is to the music industry and society as a whole. Oh my God. She really fucking punched below the belt there. However, I would like to thank you, D. Snider, for allowing the world to see how truly desperate he really is. Wow. Following Kelly's post, Snider returned to X to clarify. This is Twitter. This is X for you. "To be clear, I have nothing but love for Ozzy. He was always lovely to me. Black Sabbath changed my life. As a songwriter, I can be a little touchy about credit and royalties."
I kind of saved it with that, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Kelly Osbourne singing Black Sabbath songs.
I mean, she is Ozzy's daughter. So,
but I'm just saying.
She sounds a lot like her mother. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, as she should. People, I've said it before, Ozzy was like the James Brown of fucking metal. I guarantee you the dudes on James Brown's band wrote a lot of his shit and gave him ideas for lyrics or ways to riff and stuff that they did not get credit for. But they had a career because of James Brown and fucking James Brown, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a give and take. Jakey Lee, Jakey Lee, I think, has the best kind of attitude about it, because when they asked him about that, I think it was we talked about this, but he said kind of basically what I just said, where he's like, look, yeah, I probably didn't get a lot of credit for stuff that I deserve credit on, but also, like, would anyone know who Jakey Lee was if it weren't for Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so there is that.
And then
Anyways.
there's Nuno.
Then there's Nuno, and then that is, of course.
Decided not to be in
I've
the
never
band.
seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones.
Ticket bastard.
Ticket bastard. I forgot about that.
Nice.
Remember when they had a Headbangers Ball?
Yeah.
I thought it was nasty.
Anyway, let's keep going, gents. We got a little bit more. We got a little bit more meat for y'all tonight. Tommy Victor on Prong's new self-titled album. There's a little bit more rejuvenation in the sound of the band. So, to preface this, Prong has a new album out, and it's a lot more stripped down and like punk rock sounding than a lot of their stuff recently. Because Prong's one of those bands, like, and I talked to Tommy Victor. I'm actually going to repost the interview I did with him as one solid piece, because I made the mistake of cutting it up into segments and making it a playlist when I originally posted it. So I took it down, but I'm going to repost it as one solid video. Anyway, they were like alt metal when Prong first came on. When I first noticed Prong with like Prove You Wrong and what was the record after that one or before that? Beg to Differ. It was kind of like alt metal. Like they came at a time, and then
they were kind of like in there with Clutch and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was like almost like Prong, almost like Prove You Wrong is one of my favorite Prong records, but it almost has like a Primus kind of paint to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's got like a funky bass, and like it's less like chugga metal sounding and more like the chords he's doing. I love that record because it's heavy, like you know what I mean, Dryden? It's heavy like at the drive-in. Like it's not like dun 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 like metal heavy in that way. I mean, it has some of that, I guess.
Modern Life is War is one of those bands for sure.
Right. I love any band that can get like that. Modern Life is War shit. They do those like reiki, like really like big, like just like
chords.
Converge is another band like that. I think that Converge does a lot of chunky stuff too, but like it's abrasive without like being in its own way. It's abrasive. I love any band that can give me something. That I love abrasive music with high energy. So anyway, the early Prong was that. But then when they did Cleansing, they did the Cleansing record with Terry Date, who did the Pantera records. They like went industrial. It was like drum machine shit, and it was still great, like in its own right, completely different. So Tommy Victor is one of those dudes who I've always had a ton of respect for, and you know he played with Danzig's band for a while. He's legit ass dude, man. So anyway, we'll read a bit about Prong right now. With a little bit of Prong for you. No, that is not a cut from Prong's new album.
You sure?
I think I had this from.
It sounded like porn music.
Yeah, it's wah guitar, because we did Wednesday night wah.
Oh, okay.
And so I had like the wah, and then I also had a different kind of wah. If you remember right, it was a crying baby.
I do remember that shit was loud.
Do I? Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. I apologize. I apologize for that. In an interview with Cassidy of WSOU 89.5 FM radio station, Prong guitarist vocalist Tommy Victor. We should try to get Tommy again. I bet he would come on the show.
Yeah,
we should get him for like a Monday Night Raw. I bet he would come talk to us about this new record. Due out November 6th, so we got plenty of time to get him before the record drops via Napalm Records. Regarding why he decided to make the new LP a self-titled affair, Tommy said, as transcribed by the good folks at Blabbermouth, who we love deeply. Because of Napalm Records finally being on a new label, we've been on this other label, Steamhammer, for so many years. And I don't think anybody knows that we were putting records out, to be honest with you. It seemed like, oh, you guys are still around? Yeah, we just put out an album, blah, blah, blah. So Napalm's a bigger label. And then there's, I don't know, a little bit more rejuvenation in the sound of the band. You guys played The Banner, the first single, which I heard, it's like pretty straight up punk song. The Banner, the new song, is pretty like heavy. I mean, it changes too. Like it's badass. It's new Prong. I mean, the first single is a little different. I mean, it's New York hardcore thrash crossover industrial metal, but a little more song oriented. Some of the songs, and then it's a heavier record. It's faster, and I just thought the band sounds a little more modern now or something. And then the new label, we've been so active touring a lot. I just feel like it's new renaissance of Prong. Asked if the recent lineup changes in the band affected the writing process for Prong, Tommy said, it affects it a little bit. I primarily do the writing. I have a lot of lyrics I'm constantly writing, so when it goes into putting the songs together, it's pretty fast. I'll go, oh, well, this lyric, what am I going to do with this? And we just match riffs and ideas with it. So this one was real fast. We played Dingbats in Jersey, and I realized that we didn't have enough time to finish the record. I mean, enough time on the record. So I wrote a song backstage at Dingbats right before we went in and recorded, and that took 3 minutes to write it. Some of the songs take a really long time. There's a song, The Uprising. I had this one riff. It took months to finally get the whole song put together. Then there's other ones that take a couple of minutes. So that's the way it is. There's no formula. There's a new song called Fear the Sun. I think it was going to be the second single. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? What kind of motif on the song am I going to have? And my son kept playing a bunch of new metal playlists. So I'm like, yeah, a lot of these bands sound like Prong. So I was like, let's maybe do something like that with a traditional song structure. And this one sounds pretty heavy, but it sounds like a real rock and roll song. So that's the next one coming out. So there's different instances, but a lot of the banner came from, this is actually really cool. Oh, from a lyric, matching riffs that actually Tyler, the drummer, wrote. So all different kinds of things. Regarding the musical direction of the new Prong album, Tommy said it's different. There's faster songs. There's this song that's going to be the first single before the record's release. It's called New Commission. And that one I wrote based on just a really fast loop that I made. So I just went in and wrote a bunch of riffs on top of something really fast. So I think that we upped the dose with speed on this record. And there's some really dark moments. My wife was saying, oh yeah, it sounds like there's some goth stuff going on. I'm like, yeah, it actually is. I like the song that I wrote backstage at Dingbats in the house there. They keep bringing up Dingbats. Is this Dingbats like pay to play in this article? It's like paid placement. It's like, this article is brought to you by Dingbats.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
Yeah.
It's almost like a typo negative type of vibe. It's typo meets Killing Joke type thing. So it's slower. There's just a lot of. I forgot about Killing Joke. They have some pretty good shit.
Dude, Delaney was playing this song by them. That's kind of like
Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Was it Millennium?
It sounds like I forget what it's called. Love Like Blood. I think it is. You know that song?
I don't know if I know that song.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of like 80s sounding.
That's cool. That's funny that she's listening to Killing Joke because she's sending me old Maroon 5 songs.
Yeah.
She's like, we got into it the other day because I was like, yo, she's like, oh, this song's pretty good. And it actually was a pretty good song. But she was
the first Maroon 5 album isn't bad.
Yeah, it was songs about Jane.
Yeah, that was
from that one.
Bad.
But that wasn't the song it was, but it was from that album. But I was saying like, oh yeah, I can't get into that band ever since they put out that Sugar song. Like that's just like you can't come back from that, Adam Levine.
No,
I'm sorry.
I love that fucking Oasis. I can't. Is it Liam's?
Oh yeah, dude. Where he told the bass player.
He's at the bass player's house.
He's like, "What are you still doing here? Get the fuck out of here!" And he's like, "This is my house."
Yeah,
it's a pretty nice house.
He's like, "Oh, nice house, bro."
The
nice
fucking bass player of Maroon 5, and he's like, "Yeah, you really inspired me to play." You know. Like,
oh my god,
Maroon 5.
Oh,
he literally goes, "How do you get Maroon 5 from what I'm
doing?" Yeah. He's not wrong. There's a whole thing
meant like as a bass player.
Yeah.
Oasis inspired.
A lot of Oasis when they first came out got sued like multiple times for stealing songs.
They definitely did too.
Oh, they totally did. When you hear what's his name? The Rock True Stories guy did a great piece on it, and like the first one they got sued for was there's a Coca-Cola commercial. You probably remember Eric, the one that's
yeah.
like to teach the world to sing. Oasis had that fucking goddamn melody in one of their songs. I think it's Supersonic is the song or something like that. So they have to like pay a royalty to the anyway.
But isn't that also
Ding that's Andy Steve. So he just talks a lot about the production of the plethora of legends born from Memorial Ooze bubbling at New York's most iconic punk club, CBGB's. There's only one Prong, forming during the venue's 1980s Renaissance period alongside hardcore legends like Gorilla Biscuits, Madball, Sick of It All, R.I.P. Pete, and Biohazard. Prong set themselves apart with melodic sensibility of formative records like Beg to Differ and Cleansing. Wait, did I say Pete? I don't know if it was Pete that died. I think it was Lewis that died.
Singer, right?
Because it's the brothers, right? From Sick of It All. Pete Kohler, yeah. Pete, so it was Lou that died, actually, not Pete. Sorry, Pete. I was like, R.I.P. Pete. Pete's the guitar. Pete and Lou Kohler are the brothers from Sick of It All, and Lou Kohler recently passed away. Pete is still very much with us. So anyway, yeah. So this is what they're talking about. Prong set themselves apart with melodic sensibility on formative records like Beg to Differ, Cleansing, becoming mainstays on the iconic Headbangers Ball with their boundary-pushing fusion of classic New York hardcore, infectious grooves.
Wow.
Hey, wait a minute. They don't mean the band, I'm sure.
No.
In industrial textures, Prong laid the foundation for numerous styles of post-hardcore like groove metal, industrial metal, and crossover thrash. I definitely did. As the band's mission statement, Prong incorporates the well of styles into their legacy is built on blistering thrash sections open into lush choruses, blah blah blah. So that the rest of that is just press copy. But check out the new Prong record because it is hot shit, or it's going to be hot shit. The new Prong single is called The Banner, and it's very like punk rock, kind of like it has an industrial kind of break in it. It was kind of cool because it's one of those songs that it's like very stripped down, just like right out the gate, just like kind of a straight ahead riff. And it's kind of like going, I'm like, okay, this is solid. And then it like goes into this like completely, it takes like a left turn into this like industrial thing, which is pretty cool. I think it's cool that he's kind of combining, you know what I mean? Like he all his eras in one song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Cleansing and Beg to Differ eras. Anyway, we got one more story, gentlemen, and then I will let you get out of here. It's about Crowbar.
Yeah.
Carrying the load.
All right.
So before we get into this, Crowbar's had a resurgence recently. What's the song? Do you know what the song is, Dryden, that like was big on TikTok?
I think it's something Mountain. Their most popular song. That's probably what it is.
Well, we love Kirk Winstein and we love Crowbar. So
To Build a Mountain.
What is it?
To Build a Mountain, I'm pretty sure.
To Build a Mountain. Okay.
That's one
Carrying
of them.
so this is by Dan Franklin from Knotfest. Nola Sludge OG discusses the band's surging stock more than 3 decades in and reflects on how timelessness and tenure are fundamentally connected when it comes to Crowbar. As founder and singer-guitarist of Crowbar, Kirk Winstein has been making art out of suffering for over 35 years. In Crowbar's world, time heals nothing, but with time has come appreciation. Thanks to a recent surge of interest in the band from younger listeners, propelled by TikTok virality, and Crowbar's lugubrious, I love that word, yet resilient themes clicking with Gen Z, the band's monthly Spotify listener figure has quintupled in the last 18 months to 1.4 million. Of this streaming audience, 75% are age 34 and under, and these new listeners are turning up to shows too. After years of hard graft, Crowbar tours are selling out everywhere. I'm trying to stay humble, says Winstein from his couch at home in New Orleans, but I think we deserve it. Yeah, Because of the 36 years of nonstop doing this for no money and playing for really small crowds and whatnot, just having a cult really underground following, by looking at the crowds and trying to analyze everything, whatever generation we have of these 15 to 35-year-olds, it's almost like a 20-year range of people coming out to the shows, buying merchandise. They know the lyrics, they know the songs, they're into it, they're passionate. It reminds me of the way I was many, many moons ago when I was young, and I'm still obviously passionate about music. Kirk is such a cool dude. We got to get him back on the show.
Yeah.
Crowbar has always stood in a genre of one. The sludge tag they picked up early on underplayed their unique combination of hardcore ferocity. By the way, my compliments to the guy who wrote this. This is a very well written piece. The ultra heavy, rich, harmony driven element to their music. Over the course of the 90s, they got more psychedelic and subtly experimental. With 2001 Sonic Excess in its purest form, they worked with Ugly Kid Joe guitarist turned producer Dave Fortman. Interesting. I didn't know he was in Ugly Kid Joe. Right. Before Fortman went on to produce Slipknot and Evanescence, he was able to elicit from them a resonant soulfulness on tracks like The Lasting Dose, which still sounds crushing and otherworldly today. It's a quirk of the world of digital listening that a deep cut from that album, repulsive in its splendid beauty, is now the band's most streamed song. But where quality leads, listeners follow. I saw the band in 2001 at London's Camden Underworld. Oh, he's British. That's why his writing is so good. Just before the
Never mind. It actually is that song too. It's not the To Build a Bond, but Repulsive it's from the same album. It's from the same album. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Before Winstein introduced a new song called To Build a Mountain. It transformed an already violent mosh pit into complete pandemonium. The song continues to do so a quarter century on as one of the staples of Crowbar's sets. This week finds Crowbar enjoying this unusual rejuvenation at an unusual live event, Blood for Blood, at the Ocean Center in Daytona, Florida. The first ever hybrid event staging heavy metal bands and bare-knuckle fights. It is headlined by the Slaughter to Prevail frontman, the Russian Grizzly, Alex Terrible, taking on Cameron Delano. The latter come from the world of professional bull riding and clearly spurns the quiet life. Slaughter to Prevail are also playing a set at the event. They are the first on the bill, giving Terrible a chance to recover before his headline bout. Better that than risk it the other way around. That he doesn't get to perform. The bands are playing 20-25 minutes each between fights in what Winstein describes as a throw-and-go situation, with the ring set up in the middle of the arena. Once a fight's over, attention will switch to the arena stage for the performance, with fights scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds, which could be over at any point. The bands need to be on their toes. I enjoy watching all the combat sports, but as a casual guy, says Winstein, not knowing what to expect. I've never done martial arts or any kind of fighting stuff, but it looks like just logically these guys and girls are going to be beating the fuck out of each other with their knuckles, so we'll see. Also joined by Malevolence and Black Label Society on the bill. Crowbar are a full-on band for a full-on event where anything could happen. It's unorthodoxy territory for Winstein and tallies with how his band was received as an oddity in the early mid-90s. Crowbar featured twice on MTV's Beavis and Butthead as the animated duo sardonically commented over videos for All I Had I Gave and Existence as Punishment. Whoa, he said he gave his heart and soul to some chick, Butthead said over the video of the latter. That must have been like 50 pounds of meat, Beavis retorted. Though they mocked Winstein for singing like he was taking a dump, and the duo's observation that the band's music was slow and fat, that it should be listened to by anyone skinny who wanted to put on weight, has been re-embraced as a meme of sorts online in the last
I think that'd be a funny sign to have at a show of theirs. Just saying it.
Yeah. So that's the meme now is like if you need to put on weight, you need to listen to Crowbar.
Yeah.
That'll make you fatter. Now 61, Winstein's lost a lot of weight. Now 61, Winstein is much more svelte than in his youth and laughs that he can't listen to Crowbar's music himself when he works out because it distracts him.
No.
Disconnected my mic.
You gotta switch it. I think it's on your computer.
Okay, now I gotta go back to you.
Yeah.
Is that back to normal?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Anyway, the gym equipment thing distracted me. He can't listen to Crowbar's music himself when he works out because it distracts him from the rhythm of working the gym equipment. As for the music piped into the gym itself, he can hardly hear it these days after years of oral punishment. Winstein admits that Crowbar's overnight success earned over 35 years is better appreciated by him now than it would have been by his younger self. There were several occasions where, like his hero Lemmy with Motorhead, Winstein was the only member of Crowbar. He had to wade through the tough times to keep it going. Motorhead was a touchstone in another way, with Crowbar vowing never to play faster than that band's top tempo, which Winstein refers to as Motorhead speed. Back in late 80s New Orleans, the young Winstein was in a punkish band called Shell Shock with his friend Jimmy Bower on drums. After they changed its name to Aftershock and eventually disbanded, the pair resolved to keep jamming together. Jimmy would pick me up for rehearsal, and all we'd listen to is the first Melvins album.
Yeah.
All the old Trouble stuff, Sabbath, Carnivore, some St. Vitus, shit like that, says Winstein. One day I heard that takes us, that Melvins reference takes us all the way around full circle to the beginning of the stream, right? One day at the rehearsal space, Bauer said to Winstein, let's write a song. Bauer started laying down a booming stop-start Melvins-like beat, and Winstein hit a massive sustained sequence on a low-end power chords, and thus, Waiting in Silence, the opening song on Crowbar's 1991 debut album, Obedience Through Suffering, was born. They put a tape deck in the corner of the jam space and covered it with 2 pillows to help filter the enormous volume and distortion. The jam cassettes came out sounding pretty good, and the duo felt confident they were going in the right direction. So they recorded a 5-song demo in March 1990. But Bauer had to move to Atlanta to help his mother with her work, so Winstein recruited Craig Nunemacher on drums and Kevin Noonan on guitar, who Winstein had once jammed with in a heavy metal covers band called, most excellently, Victorian Blitz. I like that. Winstein rated Noonan as a better guitar player. You can tell that guy's British.
Yeah.
He loves that Victorian Blitz. British. That's only a British guy would love it. He's like, sorry, no disrespect to my British homies out there. I got love for the UK.
Right.
Lots of spotted dick. Eh?
Yeah.
Winstein rated Noonan as a better guitar player than him, who could help achieve the guitar harmonies that Winstein loved. Thin Lizzy and Wishbone, Ash's classic 1972 Argus album, which he says should be put up on a pedestal. It's an amazing record. Though they vowed not to play guitar solos because that was the hallmark of thrash, the soulful guitar harmonies melded to the weighted down tuned guitars of Crowbar and its heft, as did Big Todd Strange on bass, who completed this early lineup, and with it the band's heavy, imposing physical presence. I started recently re-listening to Obedience Through Suffering, and I was surprised how many great things there are in some of the songs, says Winstein. I don't think the songs are that great as songs because I was still really inexperienced at writing songs and whatnot, but by the self-titled second album, all that kind of changed a bit. That's why the self-titled we just called Crowbar, and I said this is a better representation of what we want to do and where we're headed. So to me, that's our first real album. Bauer, then finding underground success as a guitarist of I Hate God, returned on drums for 1996's Broken Glass, which opens with the quintessential Crowbar song Conquering. It's a quick 3-minute example of what Crowbar is about, says Winstein. The aggressive hardcore stuff to the slower chorus. The middle section was a beautiful harmony, along with the vocals, then back into a heavy ending. All of our influences are in there, the different elements we have in our music. With the core sound well established, Crowbar began to push against their own boundaries as the 90s progressed. Look, dude, Winstein said to Bauer, it's just time to throw whatever Crowbar rule book we have out the fucking window. Just go for it. The pair holed up in a rehearsal space Monday to Friday and worked on a new material every day. Sammy Pierre Duet had joined the band on second guitar. His main band, Acid Bath, had dissolved, and his other band, Goat Whore, was more of a side project. But the resultant album, 1998's Odd Fellows Rest, was largely Winstein and Bauer's baby, where Winstein wrote and tracked most of the guitars and all the bass. It features some of the band's most gargantuan material, and Suffer as one, but also its most textured Plans Collide, in particular, made Winstein nervous. But after a couple beers one day, he threw caution to the wind and suggested opening the album with it. Both songs rank in the band's top 5 most streamed tracks and are setlist regulars. I suggest to Winstein that it's his emotional openness in Crowbar which is resonating with younger audiences. He's not trying to be a tough guy or even an angry guy, more an openly sorrowful guy. I think that it really obviously pushed a button in people, says Winstein, and their lyrics are really becoming an important part of the songs as well, which makes me feel good. I never thought much about them. People ask, well, what's it about? It's about whatever you want it to be, I respond. I use a lot of metaphors. I just write down thoughts and make them rhyme, but the album is usually recorded completely, and I will come back and do some extra stuff after, and then I write the vocals of the lyrics of the song for a day from scratch. I go in the studio with an old school notebook and a pen, scratch out shit. I've got arrows going everywhere, and I change words, change lines. It's a hot mess, honestly. But it seems like the lyrics have really hit home. Finally, to the audience that we have now, which, like I say, still consists of some original fans, just not so much at the shows. They're younger and younger at the shows. Winstein is back to working with Big Todd again, but this time in Sun Don't Shine, who have released their debut album From Birth to Death, featuring former Typo Negative members Johnny Kelly, and Kenny Hickey. Winstein proudly notes that it sounds neither like Typo nor Crowbar. Let's do our own thing and not give them what they think, they told each other. But fans of both bands will find familiar elements in the SDS sound, albeit though a grungy alternative rock lens through a grungy alternative rock lens. Drawing on the bands that influenced them all as kids, such as Kiss and Judas Priest, Winstein marvels at Hickey's singer-songwriter capabilities. Hickey writes a song in an acoustic with the guitar and vocal melodies, as well as lyrics, all tackled at once. It contrasts with Winstein's approach. And also, he says, Phil Anselmo's. When the Pantera frontman presents songs on guitar to the members of Down, Winstein's other supergroup. Down also includes longtime collaborator Bauer and Pepper Keenan of Corrosion of Conformity, who were recently interviewed by Knotfest for their new album, Good God, Bad Man. Down have also been jamming together since the early 90s as a way to indulge Sabbath worship away from their main projects. And Selmo produced and contributed mumblecore backing vocals to Crowbar. Mumblecore, huh? In 1993. Wow. Reports of an imminent new Down album have been circulating strongly as well. I heard a new mix today, Winstein says, so I'm keeping everything hush. It's an amazing record. It really, really is. It's 10 brand new originals, and it's great. It sounds like old school Down, just more mature. We started Down in 1991. We've all got 35 more years of experience in writing and touring and playing and whatnot, so the new Down is fucking really going to be a beast. It's a great record, so I can't wait for it to be done and for everyone to hear it. Kirk Winstein has taken the long road to success, but Crowbar has never been about selling records. It was about taking heaviness to emotionally truthful places, backed up by molten core music rooted in rock's classic bands. A new deep cut of Crowbars is trending on digital platforms, Embracing Emptiness from 1995's Time Heals Nothing. Its opening line, long been down but never been this low, that the conditions in the world are such that a new generation has taken so strongly to a band expressing these sentiments might be cause for concern, but who needs inner peace when you can have Crowbar instead? All right, gents. So that's it. Feel good story, I thought, for hardcore metal. Just like that's a really cool. Yeah. 35 years later to see Crowbar.
Hey, we got some new representation on the stream.
On the comments. Oh, it's my boy. Chad, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this soon. I started on this. I didn't realize this is a good 15 years old at this point. The book came out in 2013.
All right.
But it was always, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you had asked me for an album of the week for next week.
Yep. What is it?
And I just decided I wanted to get something new. And so I wanted to do the Tony Iommi song with just the song with Jordan Ladd, because that's all we have right now. But I think that's a great song. And it's a great way to introduce people into Black Sabbath and Jorn.
Oh, Jorn Landa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, for sure, dude. Let's listen to that.
He sings
honestly,
on the song.
A song is way better because we can like pontificate a lot more on one song.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought too.
Because
I thought a song is
listening to a full album is a lot of work, you know.
But this is a great song, and I Jordan Ladd and Tony Iommi. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. Well, dude, we're already over 2 hours now, so. Okay. thank you everyone for joining us. We're so happy to be back. We have once again reachieved monetization. The YouTube gods have rained their good fortune upon us once again. The YouTube gods have rained their good fortune upon us once again. And we have achieved our monetization. And with that, you know, we're going to close it out. Thank you guys for joining us all tonight. And we're so happy to be back. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know if you think we're assholes too. We like to hear it. So
yeah, we'd love to hear that.
I have a humiliation fetish. Peace. Till next week. Maybe even before.